If you've just started a brand new HR business partner role, congratulations. But now what? You may be thinking, what sort of questions do I need to ask? How do I make a good impression? How do I start adding value straight away? One of the most frequently asked questions I get asked from new and transitioning HR business partners are, what do I do in my first few weeks? How do I prepare for meetings with my stakeholders? What questions should I ask? This video is going to give you the clarity and confidence you're after so that you can build great and positive relationships and start adding positive value from day one. I will show you a step-by-step process you can consider taking if you're keen to establish yourself, start adding value really fast, and simply establish the people agenda for your allocated business areas that add value to everyone. Let's start from weeks 1 to 4, which we can call learn, listen, and land. So the key theme for the first month is to establish our presence and our credibility. The key actions we need to start taking straight away is to get the basics right. So we need to understand IT, HR, systems, policy reviews, processes, and things like that. We are not here to judge the way that they do things. We may not like it, we may like it. This is something we will do later on. Once we've got the feeling as to how they do things, how they navigate, and how they make things happen, later on we can start making certain recommendations as to how things could be improved or changed, but not straight away. Give it some time and understand how it works really well for yourselves, so you know when you're speaking to business leaders and managers as to how things get done, just in case they ask you some of these questions early on. We also need to start booking one-to-one meetings with our key stakeholders. So these are our directors, senior leadership team members, or first and second line managers. This will depend on what level you operate at as an HR business partner. If you're not sure what level you operate at, I actually have a separate video which talks about the 4 key levels I've noticed over the last 15 years that HR business partners operate at, and that will give you lots of ideas as to who your stakeholders are going to be and what kind of questions you can ask them. But some of the initial discovery questions you can consider asking in these one-to-ones are, what's working well with people and culture? What is your biggest people challenge this year? How do you see HR adding value to your function? It is also important to review the relevant people data for your allocated client group. So think about the whole of the head count, attrition, absence, performance trends, anything you can get your hands on. This is very important to do as homework, ideally prior to these initial one-to-one meetings, so you can start adding value straight away. In my own experience, managers and leaders don't spend enough time on understanding and analyzing people data. So if you turn up with some valuable deck, I'm sure you're going to start adding value straight away. It is also important to understand the HR operating model. So again, we're not here to judge the way our new HR function is doing things. We are here to simply understand who does what, so we can continue to market that within our business areas, because there will be questions coming your way unless that's really clear and it sits on some sort of intranet where people simply know how it works. Quick tip box is to prepare a stakeholder map. So this is a simple stakeholder map of the people you need to work with on a more regular basis. You need to map their leadership and communication style, which you will find out and ask in initial one-to-one meetings. You can simply download a work dashboard, which is a Notion template, for free from my digital store, and this will help you understand what sort of questions you can ask and help you track all of this in one place. It is very important to ask some of these questions up front and how they like to work and how they like to lead their people, so that you don't overthink. It's as simple as that. And these are the things I would grip straight away quite early on in these initial one-to-one meetings in order to have an effective and engaging relationship from day one. And finally, it is very important to agree our personal objectives, our role objectives with our manager, so we know what we're going to be measured against, especially if there is a probation period involved. You want to make sure what's expected of you and how quickly you need to be making impact. Let's talk about the second month, or weeks 5 to 8, which we can call connect, contribute, and clarify. So the key theme is to start shaping direction and building trust. Some of the key actions we should start taking straight away are sharing insights with stakeholders. For example, here we go what I'm hearing, here we go what I'm seeing. It's very important to focus on themes. So try and group what you're seeing in some sort of key themes and key trends, not noise. It's very important to identify quick wins. For example, streamline a hiring process, refresh a dated policy or approach, fix a known pain point. It's also important to start delivering credibility on something small but visible. So if there is something that's blocking some sort of process, so maybe they're unsure as to how to navigate some of the challenges or complexities within HR operating model, if you can find a way to unblock it and simply enable it for them, you will get lots of praise straight away. It is also important to start connecting with leads of HR centers of excellence, which could be learning and development, employee relations, talent, recruitment, and teams like that. It's very important to understand their pipeline priorities and who to go to make things happen. It's also important to start shaping a mini people plan or people plan light for your allocated business areas. These are the questions we need to start asking and getting some answers and guidance around to give us the content for the people plan. What needs to run better, what can be improved, what might need to transform. Let's proceed with the third month or weeks 9 to 12, which we can call deliver, diagnose, and design. So the key theme is now we are here and people know about us, we can start leading on certain initiatives and actions we've talked about. So the key actions would be to present a 3 to 6 month forward-looking HR business partner contribution plan or a simple people plan light, as I mentioned before. It's very much important to prioritize what is happening here and now, what are those things that need to be tackled straight away versus strategic priorities and where we need to be in about 6 to 12 months time. It's very much important to ask ourselves and discuss with our business leaders the following. What are the pain points I can own and lead? What data or insights do I need to build a business case, especially if you're thinking of changing a couple of things? It's also important to start co-designing solutions, for example, org design input if there is any restructuring or changes going on, workforce planning, what is the business demand, what is the workforce supply solution, what are their engagement approaches, and things like that. It's very much important to start bringing feedback loops into play. So how do we want to collect feedback about our performance with our stakeholders and be ready for the upcoming probation review meeting with our managers? I tend to do these things quite proactively. I tend to ask for feedback proactively. I don't really wait for my manager to ask these questions about me. I would clearly encourage them to do so and speak to relevant business leaders and managers as to how I work, how I engage, and how I come across. But I will also do this myself. I would want to know and ask these questions up front so I can share some of that with my managers and also demonstrate that I've done my homework and I'm really keen to do well. So in summary, it's very important to be visible, be valuable, and be vocal. We shouldn't wait to be asked as to what's going on. We should start contributing and sharing our views and experience and creativity straight away where possible. It's also important not to chase tasks. We should be shaping conversations and adding value. Think about whether business leaders and managers would pay to have a meeting with you. I know we are hired and we work as employees and we get a salary, but would they pay to have a meeting with us is something I often ask myself. It's also important to track our progress weekly and reflect weekly, especially in these initial weeks when we are trying to connect with the business and business leaders and our managers, is to really ask ourselves, what did I learn? What value did I add? And to be answering some of these questions because our managers are going to ask some of this in our probation review meetings. As I mentioned earlier, you can actually download a work dashboard from my digital store for free, which is a simple Notion template. You will be able to manage everything in one place. All of your initiatives presented as projects, tasks and activities, as well as a tracker to manage meetings with your managers, what sort of questions you need to ask quite early on, stakeholder tracking tool, and what questions you can ask in those initial meetings, as well as having that regular agenda going forward. If you would like some additional support and assistance, you can always book one-to-one calls with me, as well as join my Expert HR Business Partner Academy. These are weekly sessions I run every Saturday and Sunday for a small monthly subscription fee. You can come around as a guest to check it out if you're unsure whether you want to join or not. I cover all sorts of technical topics, as well as tools and toolkits we can start using straight away in our roles. If you've liked this video, there are many other similar ones on my channel. I would like to point you to my HR Business Partner Masterclass playlist with all sorts of videos helping HR business partners start in their roles with confidence and clarity.